What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I have a really fun discussion video for you. This time we're talking about Traptrix. Now, I want to talk about this because we got two brand new cards revealed for Lightning Overdrive a couple months ago, a month and a half, 2 months ago, whatever. And they're really nice cards for Traptrix, but I don't think they're exactly perfect. So just a Traptrix player, Traptrix lover, huge fan of the deck that I am, my playful mind kind of went a little, out there. And even before the support got revealed, and I think every duelist can kind of relate to that, is when like when you think your deck could ever get support, you're just like, ooh, that would be the best kind of card that my deck could get. And that's what I did. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about pretty much the card that I think would be the most perfect, like just the perfect fit for Traptrix and would help them with so many of the things that they do need help with. And yeah, that's pretty much the basis of the video. Keep in mind, guys, I also tried to keep it like realistic, because you could say for any deck, like give it a Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Non-once per turn search card that's also searchable by other things. Sure, that's cool, but like I'm trying to keep it realistic. And so this is a realistically really good card that Konami easily could have made, and it's honestly not the furthest thing from what we got. So starting off here, if you don't know about Traptrix at all, it's a trap-based deck. Sarah is the new centerpiece of the deck as of, 2 years ago. She gets you a free trap whenever you activate the effect of another Traptrix monster, and she gets you a free Traptrix monster straight from the deck when any normal trap card is activated, and she's unaffected by all traps, period. So she's very good, and all it takes to make her is a Link 1. There you go. One of the problems that the deck seems to have, though, is I do feel like some of the cards do just not have as much impact as they could. We have stuff like Traptrix Mantis in the deck, which is a normal summon that searches a monster, but a lot of the times with what we've had now, you can really do anything with the monster, right? You just search a monster and then the monster just sits in your hand. Not exactly what you want to be doing, with how fast the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is currently. So that is a problem. Speed is a huge problem there. Extendability is definitely a problem. We have a couple extenders we can play, like Shade Brigandine, and the Dogmatic engine is still really solid in the deck, and stuff like Parallel Exceed as well. But I do think an archetype like searchable card would also be like really huge for the archetype if we could make it happen. So those are the things that I'm most looking at are extendability, right? So not just like raising the ceiling with extenders, but also raising the floor, we could also say, because even if you got disrupted, you'd still have a good extender to get to work through that. So that's a huge thing. And I would say, like I said, the speed of the deck, definitely helping you get more going a little bit quicker, because like Link Summon Sarah set 4 is fine, but not when you're losing half your die rolls and have to go second in game ones. Not good enough. You got to be able to do more than that. So those are two of the bigger problems in the deck. We also got this card, which is actually a very nice card in Lightning Overdrive for the deck. I don't think the deck needed this card necessarily, but I'm not mad about it. It's definitely a very welcome piece that we will absolutely take good advantage of, but this isn't necessarily the piece I want to focus on. The card I want to focus on more is this one right here, Traptrix Gina Loa. Now, if you don't know what this card does, essentially you can send a set trap card you control to the graveyard to summon her out of the hand, and if she's in the grave and you have no spell or trap cards, you can like banish her to reset a trap hole from grave. So she's a pretty good card. I'm not complaining. I really am not. I actually think she's going to be huge in the deck. I think she's bigger for the deck than people seem to think. I think in a vacuum, when you read a card like this, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But then once you really go through it and you realize that, like, oh, Sarah gets you a free trap every single turn, and that just means this card is going to jump out of the hand so freaking easily. Yeah, it's a good extender, fine. But I do think there are some points that this card could be improved on, because I think this card was kind of along the lines of the kind of card I was looking for. An extender type card, makes your plays a little faster on turn 1, gives you more value with Traptrix Mantis with her search, and kind of gets you going that way. So I think this card is close, but it's not exactly what I really wanted. One more thing I want to mention before we move on here is all the Traptrix monsters are tiny. They're tiny. The biggest one is like, well, you could look at Raflasia's defense, but she doesn't allow you to apply any offensive pressure. So, okay, fine. Other than that, you have our new Link monster that's 1800, and I believe the Exceed might be 2000 attack. But other than that, none of your main deck cards are like crazy at all. They're all super small, and the worst one of all is Sarah. 800 attack, that's so small. Any deck can just normal summon, try to beat over in the battle phase just to bait you out. They're gonna bait out into like disruptions like that because you're so scared that like, if I let them just clear Sarah, I won't have a follow-up and I won't be able to get connected back into my engine unless I get a nice top deck for the next turn. So that's a huge pain. Which took me to the one card I've seen throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! That really just like, I was like, wow. If that just said Traptrix in the name instead of the name that it does have, this card would be incredible. Trickstar Corbane. I think Trickstar Corbane, like a Trickstar Corbane card for Traptrix would be so huge. I've actually mentioned this before a couple times on the channel, but I wanted to make an official video just saying this would have been like perfect. Okay, if you don't know what Corbane does, it says if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Trickstars, but in the case we'd be looking for Traptrix, summon it from the hand. That's really good because we've seen cards before that need you to have like Blackwings, that need you to have a Blackwing name on field. Like be decent, but also be kind of annoying because if your opponent can just mess with your normal summon, you can't drop any of them. If they remove the normal summon, you're just like, oh, I'm just stuck with all these in my hand. This card, even if you have nothing, can still get itself onto the field, which is really huge just because Sarah's a Link 1. Like, you'd be able to normal summon, get disrupted, and then just special summon the new monster to just make a Sarah anyway through a disruption, which is really huge. And like what I was saying, adding more ability to play through disruptions, much better. Its other very important effect, though, is during the damage step when your Trickstar monster battles an opponent's monster, or in this case, a Traptrix monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That monster you control gains attack equal to its original attack until the end of this turn. Now, I would want to like mold that just a little bit, but I love the basis of it. It really says you have to be worried about just trying to go battle phase and walking into my Sarah because I can punish you with this. I want to modify it so that maybe it just gained a certain amount of attack so that Sarah would, because Sarah would just go to 1600 and that's not, you're still getting beaten over by most stuff. So I'd like that to be a little bit different, but we'll talk about that with the final card that I ended up with here. Oh, the last thing here is that you can only, Corbane says you can only use either of her effects once per turn, but not both in the same turn. Obviously, we'd want that to be able to be both in the same turn because you'd be able to summon one but still have one in hand and then, you know, get over certain things. Which takes us to our final card here. It's still Gina Loa, but this is just kind of what I want her to be, just slightly different. And yeah, so as we read her effects here, everything is the same from the artwork up, and I did some jank editing to really get this card the way I wanted it. It reads, it wouldn't be a fairy. Also, I forgot to change this. This would not be a fairy. If you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Traptrix monsters, you can special summon this card from the hand. Same thing. Like I said, it's incredible because it allows you to work around anybody who wants to just disrupt your normal summon and think that's going to like keep you off of your play. It's not with this card around, or at least when you have access to this card. Second effect, during the damage step, when your Traptrix monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard as cost. That monster you control gains 1700 attack to its original attack until the end of this turn. I just did jank editing, that's why it looks weird there, but you get the idea. The reason it's 17 is because I changed her attack to 17, so it made sense, like, oh, she's giving her energy to the monster battling, so you just add her stat to theirs. Fine. Not the biggest thing. I just felt like 15 was kind of the magic number. You add 17 to, because if you add 17 to Sarah, she becomes 2,500, and I feel like that's a pretty good wall to hit, or at least a benchmark to hit, because after 25, you really don't see too many monsters that are above 25 unless they're just like 3,000. That's what it is. Like, usually most stuff that's bigger than 25 is just straight up 3,000, and okay, it is what it is. I wasn't going to make a card that just says gain 2,200 attack. I mean, that's a lot, right? And it wouldn't make sense for a level 4 to be doing that, because we want it to be level 4. That's the other thing too. Corbane's level 5, but this card is still level 4, so it can help you with Exceed plays as well, which Traptrix love to do. Anyway, other than that, it says you can only use each effect of Traptrix Genlisea once that turn. Like I said, 1700 attack, 1400 defense, totally fine there. I just wanted to adjust that so it made a little more sense for the, for the effect itself. But I just think this card would cover so many things. Your battle phase weakness with Sarah, and not just Sarah, but the other ones too. This allows you to clear over certain monsters like Dragoon. If it hasn't used its negate to destroy something on the field, you can actually just like normal summon, attack, and in the damage step, by the way, this is during damage step, so it can't be negated by a lot of cards, can't be interacted with. You then get to have one of your Traptrix monsters gain 17 and just walk right over his stupid face. I love it, right? That's really solid. And I just think this card would be the epitome, almost the exact card I hoped for prior to the support. And I want to reiterate this over and over again. I'm not mad about it. I'm just happy we got support, period. But I think if it was going to be the absolute perfect card, it'd look like this and not the original Genlisea. That being said, I will be playing Genlisea, at least as a one of, maybe a two of. I do think she's a good card for the deck, and I think she'll prove it. I think she will, and I'll do my best to prove it to you guys as well. So I'll definitely have videos on that when she finally does drop in Lightning Overdrive, in a couple months, three or so months from now. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I want you to hear what you guys think. Do you think this card is it? Or I want to hear what you think. Put in the comment section down below what one card you would have loved to see, for Traptrix. Try and keep it realistic, because like clearly anybody could just be like, oh, I want a card that says like summon itself from the hand, so it doesn't take your normal summon, and then it says like summon from the deck for free, but it can't be responded to by card effects. Like, you know what I mean? Like, keep it reasonable. Make it make sense, and not just be like, oh wow, that's just like an insanely busted card. I want to hear what you think, because I'd love to hear what other paths you think they could have taken, because this is just my mind, going ham and thinking on what in my experiences would have like needed to be helped, and this card kind of fulfills that. But yeah, I'm gonna end it off there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like I said, leave your comments in the description, in the comment section below. I love you. Peace. I'll catch you the next one. Yay!